Most people see narcissism as a detrimental obsession of oneself. Let's take narcissism for what it is and not necessarily its diagnosed psychological condition. Now, the story of Narcissus is this guy was trying to find someone to love and really couldn't find anybody. And he went to the river and saw his own reflection and instantly fell in love with what he saw. But that love went too far, and he went so kind of close to his own reflection that he fell in and ended up drowning. What this story shows is what can happen when narcissism is taken too far. But narcissism itself is simply just a fascination with oneself, to look at your own reflection and see, you're beautiful. I want to know more about you. Now, if you don't have any of that personal curiosity of yourself, what does that look like? It looks like depression, low self-esteem. It looks like a lack of confidence. And before you can step into yourself and fully be you and find out what that authentic version of you is, it has to first start off with curiosity of wondering, who am I? What makes me great? What makes me me? A lot of people fear narcissism because they don't want to look like they're self-centered. There's a difference between being self-centered, seeing yourself as the center of your universe, and being selfish, where all you want to do is just take. Being self-centered allows you to keep a balance between fascination of oneself and being selfless and having a fascination with the world around you, with people around you. But if you go so far to the selfless side, you can actually lose your identity, forget who you are, stop taking care of yourself, and then you're good for nobody else. Now, if you have this fascination with yourself that gets to a point of obsession, you can also do yourself and others around you harm. So it's about balance, but without the attribute of fascination for oneself, there is no self-growth. There is no increase of awareness and increase of mindfulness. There is no enlightenment without being completely and utterly fascinated by what makes you you and what makes you great. See, I feel like a lot of people are terrified to become fascinated with themselves because they're afraid of what they might find under a couple layers. So under a couple layers, there's gonna be a spot or two where you're a piece of shit. And that's hard to look at, because when you realize that there are parts of you that are really kind of not great, what you hear is the echoes of your voice as you're judging other people for having those same attributes. And so when you dig down deep and you find out who you are and you actually fall in love with who you are, not just the good attributes, but all the attributes of you, what that empowers you to do is take on that same perspective of loving other people. That despite that sometimes you're a little shitty, I still love you for who you are. And once you start with that fascination of yourself and you learn to accept that part of you and love you, you're able to fully dive into somebody else and connect with their soul and love them. And if they're struggling, loving themselves through their shittiness, you can be a mirror for them and say, despite what I see, I still think you're worthy.